I'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL, there's Willie Mason.
That's forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Plus. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode number 25. It's getting down to the business end, William. It's the Take with Willie and Iain, The Take Season 3, episode 25.
25, eh?
25. William?
Been good.
It's exciting, isn't it, this time of year? The sun's out again.
Fuck, yeah. El Nino again, La Nina. I just saw on the news that we're going to cop that again for the third year in a row.
Nina's going to rain all over us again.
So there's no more, there's not another summer spot?
We're never, ever having summer ever again. It's just rain forever.
So you're never going to be as brown as me?
Probably that is, regardless of weather, William. That is regardless of weather.
But that's probably a bit of a downer on the summer. But yeah, I can't complain, man. Everything's all good.
Finn had his first game of cricket on Sunday. And
Right.
I went down there. Anna drove because high range. Had to leave the house at 7:45, and it was good because we bought it's different from footy because I'm not involved in his rep cricket. I got no role, so we backed the car up down at St George, nice little oval, Gannon's Oval down there.
Yeah,
and then just backed the car up, put the back seat down, and I went to sleep for about 4 hours. It was good.
that's a great weekend.
I'm pretty sure Finn did well.
I didn't do any. I think I did that little bit of work for the tab. It was good on that Sunday. What a cracking day.
Oh, did you go again, did you?
Yeah, so it was the before and after. So I was out there at around about probably 1:32, Paddo Inn, Light Brigade, the Olympic. Shout out to Wayno, the owner of that joint. He's a Newcastle man. All these other pubs, and then just getting like just the crowd, like just interviewing some of the crowd coming into the game, and then we went and watched the game at the Olympic. We had tickets to actually watch the game, and I'm like, fuck that. I'd rather just go watch it at a pub.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a zoo in there. So we just watched it at the Olympic, had a couple of beers, and then just by about 5 minutes before, we went across the road again and then interviewed all, the drunk hooligans that fucking come out of that game.
Oh,
it was
fucking like Middle Earth.
It was Middle Earth. It was good. The emotions were real, like people, accepted that it was a great game, but, the refereeing decisions didn't really help. If you're a Roosters fans, just some of this, you just want a fair game at the end of the day, don't you?
And
we'll talk about that a bit later, but
you're going up to watch the world's most important fight where Paul Gallen's fighting two blokes in one night.
Yeah, that should be fun. It should be a spectacle. I sort of just want to watch it because it's going to be funny watching Gal fight two blokes and probably punch the piss out of both of them.
He's going to flog them both.
I don't think they understand how good Gal is.
He's had, when you
there's
look at his
levels.
fault,
There's levels to shit. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And I love all three of them. Massive respect for Hodjo. Like good friend, good mates with Benny Hannett, and good friends with Gal. But I just know Gal can fight. Gal's tested. He's fucking fought like Justice Hooney. That dude's a machine.
He's been doing this for 3 or 4 years.
He's been doing this for 3 or 4
full-time.
years. He's been fighting about 5 fights, so he's tested. Have a look at the rig on him. He's 41 years old. He looks like he's in his 20s. Other blokes, you look at Benny Hannett and Hodjo. I don't think they take it that serious. I think it's at the end of the day, it's all about that paper.
It's a paper.
It's about the paper, really, isn't it? And Gal's going to get plenty of it. He's no limits cash cow, pretty much.
Well, he put him on the map. And the other thing as well, really,
Georgie Rhodes and No Limits. Shout out to you boys. He's doing some good things. They've really done some good stuff. Georgie Rhodes is a good man.
I love how it gets to like the day before the fight or 2 days before the fight, and then they have to have a press conference where like something happens.
Run at me.
Do you know what I mean? Like, have to do something, don't they? How do you reckon the boxers? Like we train with Trent Langlands, who is one of the
shout
greatest.
out to Chang. I think he just got back from his little hiatus overseas for about 12 days.
He would have
I
been.
saw the great Ian Byrne, my man here, at the session this morning. I don't know how you do. I mean, I've done the 5 o'clock session like maybe 3 times. That was because I had like a 7 o'clock flight. You're fucking rolling up there just because.
Just cause, I know.
I did the 6:30 one. That's pretty early for me.
Oh, but you're up anyway. It's just,
I know.
There is
don't
something.
Choose to do that. That is too early. I'll go home. It's only 6 o'clock. I mean, I've had a very busy morning, hence why I did train at 6:30.
Yeah.
But like you, on the other hand, sneaking into Maroubra, that's a bit too far from here.
I love Maroubra. It's a good session there.
It's a great session.
I'll tell you what was funny too. So last week on Instagram, I had the shorts on last week. And I was
Whip it. Manny, sorry to cut in. The DMs, can you tell Ian Byrne to put some fucking long pants on?
Yeah, I know.
He's rolling with shorts last week. You have a look at that show last week. I mean, I don't care what he wears.
Was a fair leg,
but it was,
well, you didn't have to look at it. It was
But no, I saw the photo when we did it. We send a lot of stuff out on posted on Instagram and stuff. I was like, yeah, that was short.
I almost there was
They
a
weren't
little.
Okanuis.
There was almost an agate popping out the bottom of one of them. And I think the bloke who got on Instagram and said, if you don't shut your legs, I'm going to feel sick. I reckon he must have had a voodoo doll and he stuck something straight up my blurter because I got the biggest hemorrhoid of all time. So I've got the long pants
There you go,
on today.
people. I thought this was going to be private.
No,
there's nothing
out there now. Nothing's private. All right, well, let's talk about the game. Obviously, the game that created so much talk over the weekend and out of the 4 games. There were some really good games of footy and they've just been forgotten about because of the way that this Roosters-Rabbitohs game ended up sort of playing itself out.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but I don't actually blame the ref for that because at the end of the day, he's got a job to do. He's working in a framework. You've got, 3 head-eye tackles, 4 head-eye tackles. You've got Victor Radley technically threw a punch, worst punch I've ever seen on a football field for a sin binning. That was probably a bit weak, but technically he's thrown one. I don't see that Klein had much choice but to send people off or to send no one off. And if you send no one off, he gets hammered because it's the reverse.
Right.
So from my perspective, the problem doesn't lie with the ref. The problem lies with the game. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like
The game or the way the game
is being officiated now in terms of.
Well, then you got to blame the refs then.
No, but it's not the ref.
Do you mean the game as
the
a
game
whole,
as a
the
whole.
NRL?
The NRL who are making the decisions. You go, if there's contact with the head, you're off for 10 minutes in the sim bin. They made that rule. Remember Magic Round? Mm-hmm. It's just that it's magnified because it's a semi. In Magic Round, when they brought that rule in last year, there was 526 blokes got sent off. And so it's just so happened that in a game where there's that much feeling, and blokes are coming off the line quick, like trying to get their side on the front foot, and they're getting things wrong. Like Tane Milne, he jumped and he got him fair in the head. You can't not send a bloke off when you've already... The only one he missed was the Tedesco one where Burgess put Tedesco's head into, round 6 next year. And that obviously changed the game.
Yep. I'll try and flip your mind a little bit because I blame the refs because the refs should have full control over the game. Be consistent with everything all year, all the time, 24/7. So when you do see a game like this, it doesn't look like we'll just have to talk about this game all the time.
Yeah.
So if you officiate the game properly, just say if they grab, just say Victor Radley in that first little bit. And it's the way that the referees talk to players as well. Talk to them like men. Don't talk to us like fucking kids. I think if they had to grab Victor Radley, come to everyone, all the captains, Victor Radley, come here, you come here, come in together. Look, I know it's an aggressive game. I know what's on the line. You don't want to blow it for the rest of the season. Keep your heads in. One more high shot, someone's getting sent off.
Yeah.
End of story. End of story. Play the game aggressive, but just make sure there's repercussions to your actions. If you want to fucking do that, I'm going to send you for 10 or I'm going to send you off. Lets the game go. Tom Burgess does that thing to Tedesco. That is a send-off or 10 minutes in the bin. What do you think's going to happen if you're a fucking middle player? Me being an ex-middle player, looking up, knowing my fullback's in fucking HIA protocol because he hit him. He didn't get there was no repercussions for him. Guess what? I'm going to take it in my own hands because you didn't do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You got grown-ass men. This is a grown-ass man game. You want to do, if you don't want to do, you don't want to send Tom Burgess off, I'm fucking going to do something myself. What do you think Hargraves and Victor Radley are? They're fucking grown-ass men, and they do that shit. Everything's on the line. Your whole fucking season, pre-seasons, you think about that. The whole body of work that you put in is all in that 80 minutes of football. You've only got 80 minutes of football left, and the ref doesn't make the right decision, then you go, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. Then they wouldn't have stopped and they wouldn't have rested easy until Tom Burgess cops something.
Yeah.
That's how players think. Understand that. If you're a ref, you should understand that. Okay, I had a look at the replay. Boom, straight in the head. Teddy's off. Well, you're going for 10 as well.
Yeah.
End of that. So Tom's off for that bit. They're not going to be hell-bent on trying to end Tom Burgess's night.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's where I say the refs need to handle their shit better. Totola got sent off twice. No, they're not sent. They're not 10 minutes in the bin. Victor Radley, both those weren't 10 in the bin. Do you know what I mean? But you set that precedent straight away. So you got to send everyone off. You know, so we shouldn't have never ever sent Victor Radley off at the start because it wasn't a send-off fucking thing.
Yeah,
So he lost control of the game, and that's it. Like, I mean, I think Brent Reid and Woodsy were talking on Triple M the other day, and Brent Reid was thinking what you're thinking as well. I was just like, spoken like a true fucking journo as well. Like, you've never been out there in the heat of the moment. You know, like, you don't know what's going on. Of course you're going to blame the players.
No,
you know
but,
what I mean? Like,
but honestly, Will, like, it doesn't matter whether you've played for Australia or you've played park footy or whatever. There are moments in games, it doesn't matter whether it's at the highest level or at a lower level, where the tone of the game changes. So something will happen, a bloke puts on a cheap shot or something, and then it's not going to last for long, but there's a 2 or 3 or 4 5 minute period, probably longer at the higher level, where that heightened emotion just lifts, right? And then
It's never
blokes are
going
just
away,
fine.
mate.
And that game went for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen
But
a
I'm just
game
saying,
where there
let's
was...
just say if he had done it at the start when he didn't send Victor Radley off for that, and if he had a word to everyone and spoke to them like fucking men, and so the next one's going off, sent off. You don't want to be sent off in a semi-final because you will cost your team. You know, and now what the refs want to do is that they want square ups. Like, I'll send him off, then I'll even it up if I get another chance, and I'll even it up here and here and here. Do you know what I mean? It goes tit for tat, where if you just go bang, you set the ground rule straight away after the little fucking first little melee, it would have got solved. Burner, I swear to God, players will listen because they know the magnitude of the game, and they don't want to be sent off in a semi-final and cost your team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, off.
Yeah, send
not
off.
10, not
Yeah.
10. You can wear 10.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, like, you're not gonna, if you send someone off, that'll fucking pull your whole team straight back into order.
Yeah.
And that's when Teddy would have spoken to his team. Let's just fucking keep it not clean, fucking aggressive as hell. But if you let the players get away with everything like they did, and all they're going to get is 10 minutes a minute, they'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by losing control of the game. They don't care. It's just like, oh, we'll just get 10. They'll make up for it. They'll get 10. It was just tit for tat, 11 on 13. Then it was like, you know, then even back up. And then like 13 on 12 and then 13 on 11. And then, you know, like 13 on 12. It was nonstop for the whole fucking game. But so no one really had the fucking advantage.
Just say under that sort of theory, just say someone comes in and times it wrong. You know what I mean? And they just time it wrong, and,
Yeah, of course,
and
it
it's
happens,
a 10
mate,
minute,
it happens.
and then it's do you send a bloke off just to try and, because that would potentially ruin the game, right? You're saying if that happens, all of a sudden, just say Tane Milne was like, and he's come in and he's done that, and it was probably, of those ones, it was probably the one where it was the most clear cut, where he's actually jumped and gone high. You send him off, and then all of a sudden, all the South goes, well, you've just ruined the game.
Yeah,
So
I know it's a fine line, but the refs, this is why they're refs. You get put in this position, you're in a power position, you're in an important position. You got to make the right call.
yeah,
I'm not sure if they can muck around with it with, you know, like Tom Burgess just say you're on standby in case, because that was that was a bit of intent there. He didn't miss him.
He did
I
not miss him.
don't think Teddy was falling either.
No.
It was just line up from fucking 5 meters, bang, hit him. So Teddy couldn't pass his protocol. I think people should be in dire straits for that moment. And if Teddy can't come on, you're off.
and that's the rule as well. So if he's penalised him and Tedesco goes off, they could have used the 18th man or whatever because it
But
came
then they
through.
couldn't.
But then they couldn't because he didn't get.
Yeah,
sin
so I
bin or
think
anything.
that there's that grey area in the game where I don't like it because
Yeah.
you lose, like, regardless if it's Teddy, but Teddy's the best player in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you lose him, you keep your 17, and what do you think happens? You're like, it's just, you know, like, but if the ref had made a tough decision right then fucking, you know, everyone's happy.
Or
no
just
one
let-
was. It just went on so much that no one was ever going to be happy.
No.
With that outcome. Like, I was going to go and said, no way. Again. Like, who's going to get the front? You know, who's going to play better? Teddy, Crichton off. Now, like, Souths have got the advantage.
When Tupou, Crichton, and
Tupou
Tedesco
and that,
went,
it was just like
the end of the
it was
game.
over, and they still hung in there. They got such a tough, resilient squad there. You know, it was just, I don't know. I just think it could have been handled better.
I reckon.
I honestly think it should have been handled better.
But imagine, Will, that there wasn't all of these rules about blokes getting sent off. As soon as you touch the head, you're in 10 minutes and that.
Well, but that's the rules, right?
Yeah, that's the rules. So imagine if that wasn't the rules. That game, they would have, they might have had a stink in the first 20 minutes, and then it's kind of out of your
This
system.
is where I'm not condoning the fighting. I
Let it
understand.
go.
I understand why the game went, okay, no more fighting. We don't look like fucking Neanderthals. Whatever. It's not a good look for the game, but we can just go out and just do what the fuck we want to off the field. but don't do it on the field.
Not on the field.
Not on the field.
TV.
Don't you dare do it on TV.
Yeah.
But fucking just drag the game through the coals when you get in the off season. Like a fight in that first 5 minutes, everyone's over it.
Takes it out. Takes the heat out.
Like, and you can have a look at those games. Like every time there was that heated battle, you get in a fight, get out of your system,
and it stops.
Everyone just chills out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Let's get along with the game.
Yeah.
If you don't, there's going to be non-stop niggling, which that game was. There's fucking genuine hate between these two clubs. People don't understand that. It was a knockout game, elimination final. What did you expect?
Yeah.
The ref had to expect that, and I think he just fucked it up.
Yeah.
He must have a holiday planned in early October because he doesn't want to fucking ref the grand final, does he? Do you know what I mean? He must be like fucking a little Kentucky tour through Europe or Hawaii or some shit because like he's not ref for the grand final because he's slipped up a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
And he should be held accountable like players are held accountable. You don't play well enough, you don't get picked in these rep sides, you don't get to do these kind of stuff. And he shouldn't because there's better refs out there. I just think he dropped the ball on this one. I just honestly do. And I think, I hear Brent Reed and all this, your opinion. And I'm like, I'm against it because I just think I know how much power refs have. They can shut that shit down. Bill Harrigan, Tony Archer and all these blokes, they used to shut it down straight away when you could fight.
Well, you know what though, Will? What about just say you're out there?
So did I change your mind?
Yeah, no,
a little bit. You can see it a little bit.
I can definitely see it.
And I can see it from your side as well.
Definitely
but I just know how much power, and I've been out there that the power that the refs have, they can really fucking ruin your day.
Yeah, of course they can.
And I mean like straight away. But with the way they talk to you, they can fucking talk you into sense. And you go, all right, Willie, hey, you get sent off, mate. You got a big campaign here next 2 or 3 weeks. You could cost your team 2 or 3 weeks.
You know what would have been better?
Because you've been a fucking idiot.
If you get 2 blokes, just say Warrior Hargraves, he goes up and he just wails Tom Bird, just bang, it's on, right? It's on. They both get 10 minutes.
It's done.
And it's done. Instead of having 26 blokes in.
That's what used to happen. And I'm just saying, we get it a little bit twisted. It's the biggest contradiction when we're worried about the image of the game, but we don't really. You know what I mean? Like we drag the game through the mud every time we get it. The Telegraph do it, Fox Sports does it, Channel 9 does it. Are we really worried about the image? Because everything's portrayed as the worst thing in the world when rugby league players do anything. What are you worried about the fuckers having a fight for?
Yeah.
You're not worried about their HIA and shit. Like we're already taking care of that.
Well, what looks worse? What looks worse for rugby league, Will? When
looks worse like that because we look like rugby union and AFL.
Two blokes punch on, or someone gets a little slap and then stays down, looks at the referee, waiting for them to go and look at so the bunker gets involved and they stay down. And mate, I'd do it too. Like anyone who thinks that players are doing the wrong thing, it's a bad look for the game. It's the same sort of point I'm making with the referee. If that's the rules, people are going to exploit it. So of course they are.
I'll tell you a little mindset of like middles. Middles like want that chance to impose their will on that other front row or whatever forward. You know what I mean? Like you think, and you know that if you've got it over that other bloke, just say physically and you get in that little bit of a scuffle and you have that little bit of a punch on. You know what I mean? Like you want that. You want it. Forwards want it. Fucking everyone wants that smoke. Everyone wants it to prove yourself. This is a man's game, man. This is not for normal people. You know what I mean? These front rows are out there just trying to fucking beat the shit out of that other opposition, physically, mentally, everything out there. You know what I mean? Like, and you take that away from them, then you end up with this.
Yeah.
Like the head slamming, like the cheap shot to try and get them back because you're trying to get them back some way, in some capacity. You know what I mean? Like it's going to come out somewhere if you can't let these guys fully let out all their emotions and all that kind of stuff. But they're the rules that we went with. So the players have to fucking suffer the consequences. But I'm not saying bringing it back, but it would solve a lot of bullshit.
But I think if you look at the problem the game's got as far as I'm concerned in terms of what looks bad, like what to the optics, what looks bad. What looks bad is blokes that aren't injured pretending to be injured because they're going to get a penalty.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Mate, look, if I'm a player, I'm doing it because it's helping my team.
So there is a grey area with that, and a lot of fans and everything, they're not happy with the, everyone's calling Trell Milk now. But he schooled everyone on the weekend. His footy IQ, he was playing chess, everyone's playing checkers. You know what I mean? He knows the rules. He hit in the head, he put that fucking ball down.
Yeah, he's
before the ref even looked at it. And they looked at the replay, got contact to the head. It's a penalty because he's making them look at it. Like he's holding them accountable because he knows the rules.
Yeah.
It was smart as hell. He was nowhere near the emotion that he played with the week before. He killed the Roosters. Like with those play twos and his little soft touches and defensively and everything like that. He didn't get emotional about the game at all. He just played the game to the rules and fucking and killed it. Like he's on another level, that kid at the moment.
He is.
He's only 24 years old and he's thinking of that shit already. He's playing to the rules.
Yeah.
Don't touch me in that. Don't touch my head. Then it breaks down everything. Their whole kick chase. Everyone wants to get down there and get on the trail. Bang, you hit me high, I'm going to stay down. So what? They're the rules.
And I'm going to get a penalty.
You know what I mean? What we're more talking about there is players rolling in and they grab their neck and then it's, you know what I mean? Like
with the crusher.
With the crusher.
But again, they're allowed to do it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it mostly happens to outside backs. And when they come in and they're trying to get those yards after, so they come in, then they twist. So just say my first impact on a Joey Manu always gets caught in that position because he's always like stepping and all that stuff and he gets twisted. But your impact when you come up, you've got to hit first and then hold up. You know what I mean? Because when they're driving all these different angles and then the next minute, like they're trying to force their way this way, I'm going that way. What do you think's happening to your neck?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's just physics, right? Like, and then it's hard to get, because what that outside back is trying to do is force his way through that gap and then hopefully you give up and then he goes bang and finds his hands and knees and goes up and plays the ball.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. So people don't understand what that. They think it's just backing into tackles. No, they're trying to back in and then flip over to their front. And what defenses are doing, we're trying to hold you up because we don't want you to find your front. So all these battles that people see, defensively you're trying to hold them up. Offensively, you're trying to find your front. There's wins and losses in the game. There's analytics, and you can get. I mean, like if you're in a club, you'll know how many battles you win. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening with everyone. Even the forwards getting that when they get that first initial hit, and then they'll try and get yards after impact, and then trying to get those extra meters, and then that person gets in that position, and you're trying to roll on your front, and he's trying to fucking hold you up, and then other people come in, and it just fucks up, and then it's like, oh well, my neck was in that position. Fuck it. All right,
I'm getting a penalty.
Yeah, and I think on the weekend the referees were sort of onto that. They're like, all right, well. And I think the NRL, if the players keep doing it, like as I said, players will see a grey area and they'll exploit it.
Yeah,
they'll exploit it. Coming out of yardage, you get put in that position. It's unspoken, but you're like, just grab your neck.
Yeah,
grab your neck. Let's get out of yardage. Got a penalty. Then next week you're over halfway. You're out of that bullshit, getting smashed for fucking 5 tackles against a Penrith or someone like that. So that's what they're trying to think. You're trying to exploit these little the grey area in the game, which they will do. What players do. But if there's rules in there, if you grab your neck, you're off for.
You got to go for 3 minutes off.
You're off for 10 minutes. Then you're like, well, I'm not going to grab my fucking neck at all. I'm going to play the ball.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
you've been off for 10 minutes. Tedesco or Manu or Fisher Harris or like a kick out. It'll affect your team for 10 minutes. So they can fuck around with those rules a little bit, the NRL, and then you'll all of a sudden see no one grabbing their neck.
Yeah.
And if it's genuine. Because you don't want to question their credibility or their character or, is it hurt at the moment? Next year, if you implement that rule, you go, well, if you go off for 10 minutes and get it assessed, just like your HIA assessment for 15 minutes.
80% of them stop.
But exactly, you watch how many people just fucking play the ball and then just sort of like shake it off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, let's not think that these guys, they're not fully faking it because they're in that position. So as soon as they get put in that position, they will grab their neck. But if they do that next year and if they implement that rule, as I just said, okay, well, if you grab your neck, get up, time off for 10 minutes. See if you want that. I don't think so.
Yeah. And
I don't think so. What are your thoughts about that?
Mate, I agree. And the whole thing for me...
Graham Annesley, fucking listen to this show, mate, and you might fucking learn something.
Big fan of the show, Annesley. Loves
Proper.
it. And the thing, I reckon, if you look at any sport, people... The fans, let's call them the fans, right? Doesn't matter who they are. They sit there and they watch a game and they have an opinion on
the
how
the
Henrys of the world. They have an opinion on how things could run. But what I need people to understand is that if you look at the coaches this year, right? We've had 4 coaches sacked. So there's 4 blokes that have, because of the results of their professional sporting team, they have lost their jobs. So anyone who thinks that these blokes, I know you support your team and you go and you buy your memberships and that sort of thing, but this is jobs. These are people's livelihoods. And so to not expect someone, if you can get a penalty and you can get out of yardage in the last 2 minutes of a grand final, win the game, and you know you're going to maintain your employment because of that, you're going to do it.
Oh my!
Like this is more than just
anything that the players can exploit, they will.
They're going to do it
because no one play. If you leave a grey area for the players, they're going to exploit it.
and your coach is going to blow up.
I'm not sure if the NRL haven't caught on yet. But fucking catch on.
Everyone else has.
Everyone else has. You got former players in there. They should be giving you a little bit of a tip up.
Yeah.
Maybe those players were just playing in the 90s or something. I don't know.
No rules. No rules.
Zero rules. They're like, this is part of the game.
Just
So,
elbow in the face.
No.
All right. Well, I think, and the other thing that I liked was in terms of Tom Burgess. So Tom Burgess got 2 weeks for, I don't know which one. He got sin bin 18 times.
I spoke to Big Tommy the other day and he asked for a little bit of advice. He goes, I'm facing 3 if I fight it, or more maybe if he does get found guilty, or take the early 2. I said, mate, you got a fair chance to get to the GF. You know, like if you get through, Penrith will be massive, but who knows after this week. And fucking, there's nothing more than nothing bigger than a grand final.
No.
You don't want to get suspended into, like next year, or probably the World Cup might cop a suspension through that. But like, just have faith in the team. But you don't want, just say if you took 3 and they get to the GF, come on, man. Like he'll slot back straight into the side.
Well, George Burgess he's brought out a petition to get Tom to serve his suspensions for the next 2 years.
Why can't we do that?
Fans want it. South fans want it. Taylor and May got off.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the sort of bullshit. What the repercussions of their decision 2 weeks ago.
Well, that was the thing as well. We
why
did
can't
the
he
show.
take 2 for the World Cup?
We did the show, and then V'landys got sort of grilled about it after, and he came out and said, "Oh, it's because that's what the fans want."
Go and ask all the South fans what they want this week.
I can guarantee the South fans want Tom Burgess playing. So
you know what I mean? So like, I just
it's
think
a weird thing to say.
So,
I've been a supporter of V'landys.
This shouldn't even be coming out of our mouth.
It's what the fans want.
But they've put themselves in this predicament, and it's just like, like I don't know, like Tom. And I said to Tom, I said, look, they're going to look at someone to stick all that shit on that happened on the weekend, and it's going to be you.
Yeah.
So don't even risk it.
No, you wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Nowhere near a judiciary because they're going to throw the book at you. They could give you 5 weeks, 6 weeks, the way that they're carrying on. They want someone to go down for that debacle on Sunday.
I loved it though. If I look at that game though,
it's a fucking great game.
I love it. Anyone who doesn't get fired up, anyone who's played the game at whatever level, who doesn't look at a game like that and get excited when you can see that lift, that's the only time I miss playing footy is when it was like that. Whereas when that
I do as well, but not really.
But then you've remembered.
So I had to do it all.
And then remember,
I had to be involved in the middle. It was just like, you set tones and shit. And it was just like, that's just the way it was. I'm thinking now I don't want to go near it. But like when I was in my 20s, fuck, you just used to start that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
It was like you probably used to do that so we could get to that level.
Actually, I was going through Twitter before just because I love Twitter and trying to find something to talk about. And
the big ogre one?
Yeah.
Big
and
ogre.
there's you in the background. I loved it.
Yeah. That's just the way. I mean, Big Ogre, he used to love it. I mean, I used to play with a bunch of Rough Riders, man. Big Ogre and Roy Satasi and fucking Bobcat, Rennie, Sonny. You know what I mean? Like, you'd go to war with all those blokes, man.
It was a good pack.
You wouldn't blink an eyelid to go, let's start a fight.
Yeah.
Fucking... You know what I mean?
No
and other teams wouldn't give a fuck either. The Roosters had some fucking mean, mad people. Big Croc and Morley and all those blokes. They used to go at it. And Penrith had their crew and Brisbane had their crew. So for fights on, it's crazy.
Mate, let's just quickly... We talked about Manly last week and we solved all their problems. But I'll tell you what I like this week is that the narrative's changed now and Des Hasler's going, well, I might just go. Imagine if he did. Like, imagine if he left now and went, you know what, you got no coach. There's no coaches left. Serraldo's already on 5 Zoom meetings a week, so he's gone. You don't have a coach. If I was Des Hasler, I'd be like, you know what, sign an extra...
And I'm going to go sign with the Titans for $3 million a year.
I'll go anywhere. I could go anywhere. Like, it's crazy.
Well, he's in a power position, isn't he?
He is now, but he wasn't until they started putting pressure on. And then I look at Manly and I go, how dumb are you? Like, why would you got no other coach? Oh, it does. And the other thing that annoyed me, I'm easily annoyed at the moment. I think it's a hemorrhoid. But I sat there and they said, oh, Des has to create like a succession plan. How is that his job?
It's not his job.
How is that his job?
Who said that?
Manly is saying,
the Manly board.
like as if
I love how the comments come out of Manly, but no one puts their name to it.
Wayne Bennett and Demetriou, and it's like what comes out that Demetriou had to still apply for the job. I mean, I know Wayne Bennett probably gave him
and like Christian Wolf's up there as well.
Yeah.
Like Christian Wolf's going to be like, he might be a successor, like
if he does a good
but that's
job.
up to Wayne. Exactly, Wayne might not want to coach for another 2 years after that. Like, what's Bellamy's like succession plan?
Why does a coach need? It's like saying to someone in a job. It's like going to you when you're playing, like, all right, well, we're going to move you on next year.
But you need
can you just mentor?
someone.
We're going to get a kid and you just mentor him.
To take
Is
your
that my
spot.
job? Is that my job?
Des isn't that old.
It's not my
You
job.
coach for another 15, 20 years, Des.
He looks a bit old.
He looks old.
20 years. All right, so the other thing, I'm interested in this one. Will Melbourne, this is the first time they've been knocked out in the first week of the finals since
2014.
1908. And so Munster is obviously trying to make a big decision. You'd have to look at that Melbourne side and say, with the players they've got leaving, they've bought well, like Katoa from the Warriors is goodbye, and they've got a few, like they've filled the spots well, but you'd have to say Melbourne aren't the force that they have been.
So they lost Smith and that pretty much lost their whole four pack. Jesse, two Bromwiches, Kafusi,
and Smith. So you've got
replaced with Katoa, who's got potential.
Tarek Sims. And then they're going to have to fill it from. They'll get Christian Welch back, which but
he's just a role player.
I look at that and I go, Melbourne aren't going to be like if Cameron Munster was going to make a decision based around Melbourne, other side. I love winning comps, blah blah blah. Does Melbourne being on the slide will that dictate? Like if he's getting an extra $300,000 a year to go to the Dolphins, like they're reporting, does all of a sudden losing with the Dolphins? It's the same thing as losing with the Storm, isn't it?
I think what's a bigger issue is Craig Bellamy coming out saying pretty much won't coach after next year.
Yeah.
Like that's what is more rattling to anyone. Not what Munster's doing.
Yeah.
Not what anyone else is doing. If Craig Bellamy's there, as I said, like who's Craig Bellamy's succession plan? I mean, I think Billy Slater could easily do the job. If they don't have Billy Slater or Cam Smith in there, then it's the end of a dynasty. You know what I mean? If you're putting someone else who's not from Melbourne, like you just say, if you've got someone else from overseas, all that kind of stuff, whatever, it's done. And that'll make Munster's decision, you know what I mean? Like, and all these other guys coming off contract, they'll be like, Bellamy is that dude that you want to play for. You know what I mean? You go down there for the players as well when they had the Cam Smiths, Billy Slaters, Cooper Cronks, GIs, all that kind of stuff. You could make all those average players turn great, put them in that system and fit the culture, be a Melbourne Storm player, all that kind of stuff. I get it. Bellamy runs that whole culture, and it was player driven. So you lost all these senior players now. Kafusi 200 and something games, Bromwich 300, Kenny Bromwich over 200. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of games. Brandon Smith 150, a lot of games. So you lose that and you replace them with people that aren't Melbourne Storm players. You know what I mean? So they don't know any other club but Melbourne. Those guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, and it would have went down there for Craig Bellamy. Cam Munster is the biggest thing that's going to go on now. He's going to be going. He's off contract next year.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Belly?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you retiring? And who? And if so, who's the coach?
Des Hasler.
That's exactly. And then he's like, well, I want to get coached by Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this will all depend on what Craig Bellamy does, what Munster does. Arguably top 3 player in the world at the moment. So this is more than just Cam Munster at the moment. This is what Bellamy's doing. If he's retiring, I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person that might be able to save me and turn my sort of opinion around, if Cam Smith or Billy Slater's a coach. That's it. Full stop. Otherwise, that whole dynasty is not done, but just won't be as dominant.
Yeah.
The dominance is over.
I tend to think that Cameron Munster, my gut feeling is exactly what you say. If Bellamy's there, he'll stay.
I'm going to wait for his decision.
And, realistically, if he's going to sign a 4-year deal with the Storm or a 3-year deal or whatever, and Bellamy's only be coaching for one of those years, I think that will definitely be the thing that decides where he's going to go.
Unless, like Bellamy's going to be off contract, he's plainly said it. Like, I've never heard these words come out of his mouth. I don't think he'll coach. He said he doesn't think he'll coach, I'm paraphrasing, after next year. So he might see the writing on the
I
wall.
saw the Dogs are going to buy him. You know the Dogs are the new Roosters. They're buying everyone.
Who are we
The
buying?
Dogs.
Munster?
If you're buying Munster, put him at fullback.
What do you
see?
want?
It's you're
What
going
do
to
you
pay
want,
him
mate?
$3 million per second. Again.
Yeah, that's a real big thing. It'll be the biggest talking point next year, like pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not going that good, which I expect them to be good. But what are you doing, Bellamy? What's Bellamy doing? What's Bellamy doing? What's Munster doing? What's Munster doing?
Yeah, it does.
And that'll
cloud
make the
their-
decision.
Yeah,
Who's going to be the successor?
and it
Who is
clouds
it?
who they can
Is
sign
it Cam?
as well.
You know, like 100%.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, where if you knew that Bellamy was going to be there for your whole tenure there, you're signing.
Yeah.
You are signing because you know you're going to learn so much about the game.
I'm not, because I couldn't do the preseason. It's too hard.
Yeah.
The other thing I just quickly before we move on, so Cameron Munster's agent is your man,
The
Braith
great
Anasta.
Anasta.
And I was again on Twitter before. There's a bloke called Alan Katzman who he rolls around here with Roosters. I think he's a life member of the Roosters.
Did Braith hammer him on Insta?
And then he put something up there about I think what it was something to do with the World Cup, and I think on NRL 360
they were hammering the
they hammered
players. people that were in there or
the
the countries.
which I think they were saying there's all Australians playing for every country. But I mean, at the end of the day,
It's fucking true.
It's true. But International Rugby League is good, and I think it's good, and they should, and I think
It's never going to get to the level that we
I
want.
can't comment about it because I didn't see what it was.
Until like.
Until they start
until it
supporting,
starts even out and
Yeah.
start supporting the Pacific,
The
and
Pacific,
and
yeah.
understanding how big the game is out there and letting them play this in Origin. They need to sort all that sort of shit out.
So two things that I liked about this. First of all, is that Braith used the word Derek, which again
I love
does
that word,
not.
Derek. That's
it
his
doesn't
favourite
get
word.
enough.
That's Braith's Derek.
It does not get enough of a run, Derek. No. And the second thing was. People are like, oh, well, how do you see it on Twitter if you don't have Twitter? Well, obviously someone sent it to him and goes, how's this bloke? Like, your mates are still going to send you stuff if, like, someone's having a crack at you.
How about this, Derek?
Yeah, and that was – but then what I don't get, everybody's sort of getting up in arms saying that, he didn't say he was going to uppercut him. He said, give yourself an uppercut, which is a well-known statement, like Derek.
Are people having a crack at Brace that...
But I had a look, and now they're saying, so he's taken it down, but they're saying, he shouldn't have a go back. It's like, well, if a bloke's having a crack at you, isn't that the whole point of social media?
He's hammering his credibility.
He's going back at someone, and then we talk
fucking
about
bunch of snowflakes, man.
It's weird, eh? Like it's
fucking hell.
Like it's. I get that. Okay, everyone's entitled to opinion. Why is he not entitled to opinion when he gets?
He is entitled to his opinion. He should have left it up.
I don't know.
I don't understand. I mean, I saw it all. I'm just like, mate, you've got your opinion. Now Braith has his. And like, what is it up to? Like, if you're not involved in that conversation, shut up. It's got nothing to do with you.
How good's Derek, though? Bring it back.
I love it. And Brace, one of the best people out there at the moment. I think he's
been great on that show.
I think 360
complains.
was dying in the arse until he went on there. Because
Yeah.
who the fuck wants to listen to those other three dribblers? I think Jimmy Graham has been great when he comes on there with the players.
He's
thing.
good. He's really good.
But Braith as a manager and a person, you know what I mean? Like, he's changing the whole fabric of the game now.
Yeah.
He can control the narratives if he wants. He's looking after the best players. He's got the biggest platform, you know what I mean? He does such a great job. He's doing some good things. He's been mates with Braith for like 20 years. So, like, I just wish him nothing but respect for him. But I wish him nothing but the best because he's killing it.
And
and
also,
he's got power now. They don't like that.
and keep using Derek. Bring it back.
Change your name to Braith, Derek, Anasta.
The reviews this week. There's only 2 games. You know what? It's exciting.
Fuck. Those other games that we used to review, I used to just.
But then you sit there and you got like the Titans
I
against
just
the
want to
Warriors.
review the Tigers and Titans.
It's going far out. Anyway, these are good games. And I'll tell you what, the Raiders at $2.60. I know it's at Combank Stadium, but the way the Raiders dispatched Melbourne last week
I'm
was
changing my bet too. I'm going the Raiders.
so impressive. It was so impressive, and they just have got humming at the right time. They lost Adam Elliott this week, but that forward pack.
Nari comes on the bench and you put Sutton.
Yeah.
You don't miss
You
much.
don't lose a lot.
You do not miss much because
No.
I think Sutton's a genuine front row who works his ass off. We're going to have him at the Bulldogs next
he's
year.
on with the Dogs, yeah.
I think he can really do some stuff. You know, it's not like Ricky Stewart to take things personal. As soon as he signed with the Dogs, he can't make the
He's
17.
in the Reggies.
And he was starting before that. But you understand where Sticky's coming from. You
Yeah.
know, like if you're not going to be part of the future, then, you know,
yeah.
unlucky. I'm going to try and blood some young kid up. I'm I'm going to go for the Raiders. I've been thinking about this game. I don't think Parra can bounce back.
Well,
I don't think Mitch Moses should play.
It's the same thing again with the Murray thing. If it's round 4, is he
but
playing?
Murray had another extra 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah.
The Thursdays to the Sunday.
Yeah.
Like he's going what, from Friday to Friday?
Yeah.
2 days is big. And like Cam Murray got up like he got punched, like if he was in a boxing match, bang, it's like a quick knockdown straight back on his feet.
Moses was
done.
Yeah.
He start, when your hands and that start going, it's horrible sights. I wish that upon nobody. But come on, man, you don't think Ricky Stewart's going to send the
bomb squad after him,
fucking military after him? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like Tapine's going to be on that left edge all of a sudden. Big Papa, Horsburgh, Elliot Whitehead, Hudson Young, and I mean, this is as I said, I keep saying it's a man's game. It's a fucking, you know, this is what it is. If you're out there and if I was playing against Mitch Moses, or if I'm in any team where anyone's got any weaknesses, I'm going at you 1 billion miles an hour.
Yeah.
To try and get you off the field. That's just the way it is. Because hey,
of course,
I hope Parramatta are looking after him, and I hope he's looking after himself. But if he's not ready to roll, you can't let the kid play.
Yeah.
You can't, because that wasn't a normal knockout. That was pretty bad.
It was a bad one.
It was a very bad one, and it's only a week. And I just don't think, when you look at other sports, it's minimum 6 to 12 weeks if that's happening in boxing or MMA. Why the fuck are we allowing our players back in 1 week because they passed?
And it's not up to them.
Some
it shouldn't
fucking
be up
little
to them.
stupid test.
A test.
It's got to be taken out of the fucking hands.
Players' hands.
I don't like it. You know what I mean? What happens this week if he cops another one and he's out cold? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to just keep rolling with this and just until something like fatal happens?
Cordner and
until
friend,
something fatal happens, are we going to keep rolling with this protocol? You got to take it out of their hands sometimes. This is 1 week, and the kid is being named, and you know, like, I get it. Everyone wants to win, but this is a contact play. This is a contact game, and it's a free for all if he gets named and if he's playing. Like, I know what teams are like, and I would do exactly the same.
You mentioned Hudson Young before. Watching him go after Asafa Solomona. Every single time he got anywhere near the ball, that kid was just on him every time. And he is about 15 times the size of him, but the way that he went into that,
if he was a dog, he'd be a staffy.
He'd be a staffy, and he'd lockjaw. He would just lockjaw on you.
Strong kid, Newcastle boy, or Central Coast.
Is he? Yeah. Well, I looked at him and I went, you can just, there's something about certain players. There might just be one game where you look at them and it's not a big thing, but it's something where you go, this kid has just got no fear at all.
Next year, he'd be pushing for a 14 spot for New South Wales, and definitely he could be in this squad for Australian team.
Well, he's more Liam Martin than Liam Martin, I reckon. Like, Liam Martin's tough. I like him. He's tough.
He's got a little bit more size. He's in a better team.
Hudson Young,
he's got more skill set. He's got a higher skill set than Liam Martin. No disrespect to Liam, I think he's an outstanding player. Liam fucking plays hard, but man,
he's tough.
But he's got a bit more size than fucking Hudson. But Hudson can play anywhere in the back line as well.
I love him.
9, 13, back row. He can play a plethora of positions.
Because that's really who he's competing with. If you look at it, because they're similar.
Liam Martin's already in the Aussie team. No,
Liam Martin.
No, I don't think he's competing against him. I think he's competing against the 14. Who do you think is going to be the 14 for the Australian team? The one who can play every position.
Ben Hunt, probably. Again.
Well, he's competing against Ben Hunt because I think Hudson Young can play 9, and I think he's played it before.
He has, yeah.
But can Ben Hunt play lock? No. Hudson Young could probably play 7 or 6 if he wanted to because he's got that skill set. So I'm going to go for Hudson Young, especially if he makes a deep run into these finals. You want these players that are in good form.
Well, will he make a deep run? I mean,
I think they'll get past. I think they'll get past the Eels because I don't think Moses is going to play.
If they get past the Eels, does Brad Arthur's position yet again come under fire? Because
no, not if Moses doesn't play.
They keep talking about Brad Arthur. His finals record. Well, I mean, West would love to have a bad finals record too. You know, like they're still making the finals every year. I think
they were in that game. I mean, I know Penrith ran away at the end of the game, and you know, I'm just not happy about like the selection with Jake Arthur. Yeah, and it looks wrong because he's the dad's son. You know what I mean? He's coach, like your dad coaches the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's a good look because I don't think he just looks up to like that level.
Well, he might
You know
be
what I
playing
mean?
halfback
Like,
this
I don't know
week.
what it is. Like I'm putting Bryce Cartwright. I'm pushing Dylan Brown at halfback. I'm putting Bryce Cartwright right at 5'8", and I'm putting another forward like Nathan Brown on the bench. I'm just bolstering that bench up, and I don't want any weaknesses in that defensive line.
What do you reckon Nathan Brown's done wrong? Do you reckon he's off with the coach? He has to be because he's a
I've
good
heard
player.
some rumours, mate. I don't know. Like he played Origin, what, a year ago, 2
Yeah,
years
exactly.
ago? So now he can't even get into 17. I know he's been carrying an arm injury, but, you know, like you'd want him, he'd make most sides.
I reckon. Is he signed for next year?
I'm not sure.
I heard he's signing with the Dogs.
Maybe.
With Munster.
Maybe.
Kalen
But, yeah,
Ponga.
I just think, I don't know, like I would easily, you could move that around. You get Dylan Brown in there, get him the ball more, and then you just put Bryce Cartwright at 5'8", who can defend well, good skills, simplify his game. He's got a good kick. He's got a kicking game. You know what I mean? Like,
How good's Dylan Brown when he
because
runs?
I just think he just does not look like a first grader, Jake Arthur. And I don't know him as a person. This is just me looking at the game. Way behind. He needs to do some arm curls as well.
What do you reckon about the Sharks Rabbitohs game? I went off the Sharks a little bit. I think the Sharks have done really well this year, obviously. You know, for them to get the position that they've got, you know, they were favourites against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys got them just in that last bit. It was a good game of footy, that too. But I look at the Sharks, and when I saw
Did they lose the game, or would North Queensland win it? Tit for tat, wasn't it?
It was tit for
Whole
tat.
time.
Yeah, it was tit for tat. I love how
20
Valentine
seconds
Holmes
ago,
was
20
like,
seconds
"Give me the
ago,
ball."
and then like Taumalo scores on the right side of your post. Who do you think was getting the ball?
Yeah. That's
Put
what
your
I
fucking body in front.
Sharks I just don't know if the Sharks. I don't think the Sharks are as good as what they've done this year. I think they're a gritty side that's sort of overperformed.
Overachieved, maybe.
I think I think they will be good. I think.
Scored some silky tries.
Yeah.
But I don't think North Queensland were game planning for those tries.
No.
Like the short side play with the little block and the guy out the back, bang, 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 down sideline, Mulatalo back into the inside try. You know, like that the simple play where Hines comes from behind the play of the ball, it's a little tip block, and then boom, he comes all of a sudden, bang, little tip to Talakai untouched.
Yeah.
They just didn't they didn't defend well.
No, they
North
didn't.
Queensland. For a top 3 defensive team in the game, they didn't defend well. A couple of those tries are really, really soft. And I think going the other way as well, I think they're pretty even. Like the Sharks are like a top 3, top 4 defensive team as well. They let in some soft tries, like Dearden going straight through your middle. Taumalolo doing that, you know, hitting that try. You know what I mean? Like they just scored. It just wasn't. They weren't up to both their standards.
Whoever wins this plays the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, because I think this side of the draw dictates who wins the comp. Like as far as I'm concerned, I just can't see.
Can Penrith fall over?
No.
How fucking good was Cleary anyway?
Oh,
Those bombs, Wanga Blake was just like Wanga Blake's not bad under the high ball.
do you reckon he spent a lot of time in his 5 weeks off practicing?
All
his
he did
kicking?
was kicking. He was doing floaters with like a torpedo spin, and it was just coming back this way. I was just like, holy shit, those floaters are so hard to take. And they'll just all be, you know how hard it is to do a floater and put it to the
on
left
a
winger
spot, yeah.
on the spot? Usually they go straight. Like Brent Sherwin was a god at him. So was Joey. That was so good, and so was JT. But he's changed it up. It's coming back that way and then away from him.
I know.
Oh, I was just sitting there going, I feel sorry for Wanga Blake. I was like, and then even his runs didn't look as dynamic as they were. Like they were always coming out of yards. You felt bad. It was just like, oh shit.
'Cause it's in your head.
But it fucks with the whole team's
in your head.
dynamics. You know what I mean? You can see those middles coming back, going, fuck you. You know what I mean? And I know that from personal experience. The wingers and that you've been working your ass off for like 10 minutes in defense and all this sort of shit in attack, trying to get in a good position so we can get some field position. And you just think in your head, you fucking have one job. This is no disrespect to Wanga Blake. This is all wingers. One job. Catch the fucking ball, put the ball down, get out of yardage or whatever. You know what I mean? You simplify it. How
tackle
fucking
twos.
hard is it until you see,
tackle twos.
until you fucking go to train and you go, Cleary, put one up, and you're just like 400 metres away from it. So I feel sorry for these wingers because these halves and that are just fucking changing the game with their kicking game, especially Cleary. Cleary was on another level. He played outstanding. Everyone was worried if he had some rust. Obviously, he's been in the lab just
He
doing
did
some
not.
work. He has not missed a beat. He's kicking game, defensive game, organising game. Everything was on. Everything. It's probably the best thing that's happened to Penrith in the last 3 years, him having 5 weeks off, because he's played probably about 70, probably 80 games in 3 years, I reckon.
They may as well just every year now just sit him for the last 5 if they'll be that far ahead.
Yeah.
The one thing, I think one of the real unsung heroes in that south side is Havili. The amount of work that he does in that middle. He is so they lose Tom Burgess. And he's hard to fill because he has been good for them yardage-wise this year. But, Havili has really done a job for them. And it's a job that they probably weren't expecting, because at the start of the year we were both saying I think their middles probably just aren't quite good enough to get them to that. But
he hits like a truck. He's got good ball playing skills.
Yeah.
He's got experience in a grand final. He had some good deep runs with Canberra. Like, he's a vet.
Yeah.
He's a vet of the game. Like, that was a great buy from South.
He's international. He's played for Tom.
Yeah, played in those big games against Australia. Like, he played in that big run in the 2017 World Cup. So he's got a lot of experience. This guy's not like just your average sort of player. He's an above average player.
Yeah.
Got real high skill level. He can play 9. He can play lock. He can play anywhere in the forwards. You just put him in the middle.
Just stick him in the middle.
Put him in the middle, and he'll hit anything. He hits like a truck. Good person to have around the club. Great buy from South, and it's paying dividends now because you can give Cook a bit of a rest. Like he has that second phase around he can offload. He's always around. He's like just never misses tackles. He's great in defence, and he's good around the club. So I thought Jai Arrow was outstanding as well.
He was good. Yeah.
Jai Arrow was really good. Totola was good. Cam Murray is the difference.
Always.
Cam Murray is the difference. The amount of creativity that he creates when he's on the field, instead of how bad they were that week 1 against the Roosters, 1 out, 1 out, 1 out, because he's the one who gets touched the ball 3 times a ruck, 3 times a set. I mean, little dummy here, out the back, block, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It just sets all these plays up, and they count numbers. And Cody Walker and Latrell, when they pull the trigger, you're done. But all these other setup plays to get to the main play, it's all done by Cam Murray.
Yeah.
And then he gets the ball coming back with a little block shape and a little fucking bang, 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 like numbers. It's fucking phenomenal, mate, how he does it. He's the best lock in the world. Him and Isaiah.
Who wins this then?
South. I thought Nico Hines was outstanding, but I don't think they can execute like they did again. Some of those tries, the moves that they pulled off, South would be just non-stop watching video about all those tries that they scored. Toby Rudolph, they're not going to score tries like Toby Rudolph did, you know what I mean, like through the middle. That was just bad defence. Taumalolo slipped off, left one-on-one with Drinkwater. You wish for that if you're a middle. But some of these like set plays that they had, I think that's all they'll be watching when they do get into the set play. Kick off, they get a penalty kick, and then they're in an attacking set. They'll know what to do. There's little key points when Hines, just say the right side of the post, Hines is behind the play the ball, that's when he's going to pop out of nowhere and create that second man, and then Talakai is going to be on that left edge. So there's little triggers where if you've got good middles, they'll shuffle along. They won't be putting that number to the left, they'll be putting one more to the right. And you can solve all these things that they did. Even when they went the short side, when they hit the guy that hit the front guy, and then there was a block shape and little quick hands out the back, bang, bang. Markers need to be working. You know what I mean? The markers need to fall back and then move over to the side. Winger comes, centre is coming up, and it's just man on man. But if you bite at marker, then you're fucked. So all these little things, people, they expose those moves, and then all you're going to be doing is you'll be running those plays all the time and how to defend it. Second marker drops right back real quick, and then becomes in the line, and then it's like 3-on-3. Like, there's ways to solve all that shit. Whatever you like, if you're a good defensive coach and you know those plays, because remember Anthony Tupou used to do that at the Roosters.
Yeah,
Tupou used to do it, and the only way that teams could stop it is if they did exactly what I said. The second marker drops back, and then like B and C, which is like the center and winger, they only do it when it's 3-on. It creates a 3-on-2. And like you can easily solve it. You just got to know where the key points are, where the triggers are. You see Moylan behind there like that, or if you see like Nico Hines, you just got to call out to the markers beyond, fall back, and everyone's then it becomes 4-on-4. Solve. You can solve the shit easy. Trust me. But hopefully they're doing video on that sort of stuff, and they'll be doing those sort of short side plays all the time defensively. I think Dimitrio's a very good defensive coach. Benny Hornby's one of those as well. He's there. He's got a really good team around him. But all those plays that Cronulla did, you fucking solve it easy with communication. And knowing all the triggers, all the key point, all the little things that you can see him as a defensive team. He's got to fucking talk. You know what I mean? So they'll do it.
Willie's Big Boys.
The big boys this week were on fire. It was hard for me. I had to just decide right today. It was outstanding. Some massive, massive efforts in some really big games. So, who did I got? Fuck, I didn't even write them down.
So you've got.
So I got for 1 point. So these are the three that I was tossing up. So Jason Taumalolo, Tarpanay, and James Fisher Harris. So those blokes, I didn't know who to give 3-2-1 until I just went, well, big JT Taumalolo, he played, I think 70 minutes. It was monumental, his efforts. But then that try to get him into extra time. So I'm going to give him 3 points. So I'm going to go the other way. 2 points because Joey Tarpanay against Melbourne forward pack, against those, against that sort of team down in Melbourne, I've got to give you 2 points, Joey. You've been outstanding. I reckon you've been the best prop in the whole competition this year. And that's, if you're the best prop and your other props is Josh Papali'i, you're going all right. 1 point, James Fisher Harris, just because he set that tone on the weekend. In attack and defence, he was like folding Paulo and Campbell Gillard and all these blokes, mate. He set the tone in defence, in attack. All three of them were outstanding. It was hard to split. I just had to go down to where they were playing, who they were playing, what sort of position, and what position they were in those games. I think Penrith are in control most of the game. That's why Fisher Harris got one. The Canberra game went down to the wire, and obviously the Cowboys game, extra time. So the leaderboard at the moment is, so Taumalolo will be on 19, clear winner at the moment. Fisher Harris will be on 16 points, and I'm not sure where Joey Tarpanay is.
And
I think he's on like...
So
Junior Paulo's on, he's got
James
16
Fisher
points,
Harris.
and Fisher Harris...
Still live.
So Fisher Harris and Junior Paulo's on 16.
Yeah.
Taumalolo just puts himself a bit clear, 19 points. So, Campbell Gillard's still on 13. I thought he played all right on the weekend, but... they just got handled by Leota and Fisher Harris.
No points for all right.
No one.
All right. So I reckon this is going to be my favourite of the betting segments that we've ever done this year for the simple fact.
So we didn't win again?
Shut up. You haven't done a bet yet, which means you're about to...
I've got to toss
freestyle.
Really
you're about to freestyle a bet which will end up having 527 legs, and it will be a $50 billion bet. I feel it in my bones. So we're over $3,000 now. It's probably time for people to start. If you're involved with a junior club, a junior rugby league club, anywhere in the world, because I know we're very big in Romania and they're big on rugby league, but if you've got any affiliation with a junior rugby league club, please send in a video of why you think you should win. This is our third year of doing it, and we've given away a lot of money, which we love doing because it's great.
It's what we do.
It's great for us to be able to give back. So send in your videos on why your club is special and should win, and we will give you some money, which hopefully will be a bit more than this, but it's $3,000 at the moment. I'm about to increase it for $420 by Eels 1-12, which I've talked myself out of, and Rabbitohs 1-12.
All right, let's go. I'm going to back the Raiders 1-12.
Yep.
And my anytime try scorer will be Josh Papali'i.
Yep.
Tom Opachik. And my bet will be, I'm going to go for the Rabbits 13+. Just cause. Alex Johnson with a double. And Damien Cook, anytime try scorer.
All right. So there's a chance that we won't be able to...
happen. That could happen.
There's a chance that we might have to put those two bets on separately as $25 each, because I don't know if they'll let us do... Anyway, I'll work that out.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll work out what the things are anyway, and we'll put them up on the
tabs
social
are grouse. They might put it on.
They
the
put anything
good.
on. And then the producer's gone the Geelong. Swans.
Wow, it's good. Hey, good luck to the Swannies. How good.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were that good this one. I saw fucking Buddy Franklin about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I saw him down at Fox Sports. I was like, I haven't been following that. I said, you guys any good this year? He goes, yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. He sort of played it down. I said, he's a chance? He goes, fucking massive chance. I went, all right, then I might start watching.
Yeah, I
anyway,
don't know.
they're in the Final Four, and they'll fucking towel up Collingwood, I reckon.
Is that the Final Four now?
Yeah.
Or is it the
Prelim.
preliminary final? When's
They
the grand
started the
final?
week off before us.
Next weekend.
I might be going down to that.
So it's a week, of course you are. The week before the rugby. Isn't it normally on the Saturday before the...
No, they changed it.
Oh, they
They
changed it.
changed it. It usually was on the Saturday.
It was
Now
Saturday.
they've changed
Well,
it.
it's to the Epsom Day.
Yes.
I'll be at the races and people will be going, oh, the AFL.
that's Ian Byrne.
Yeah, I don't care. And then the Eels
All right.
and the Rabbitohs. So that's 5. Anyway.
Geelong, Swans, Eels, Rabbits. Fuck, he hasn't put any thought into that.
None.
Can we put like 13 plus or something? Like just say on one of them?
Geelong 13 plus.
Can we fucking add something on
13 plus
so we can
goals.
get more money?
No, because
All right,
he'll suck about it. Then the tips.
What am I? I'm going to go the Raiders and the Rabbits. Double R.
Yeah. RR. And I'm going Eels, Rabbitohs, and then
He's going Eels and
who
Sharks.
cares? So questions. Well, we've got a few questions for you.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
So, grand final wins aside, he only won one. What is Willie's favourite semi-final he's played in and why? That's from my favourite Adelaide Ram man guy. Good on you, guy.
Favourite semi-final. I reckon it was the semi-final to get into the grand final against Penrith at SFS on a Saturday. It was fucking brutal. I think that was harder than the grand final, to be honest. Ask guys like Ogre and a few guys because Pricey done his MCL in the first fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So I had to move to front row and kill it. And then Sonny or Rennie come on. So it wasn't that bad of a... Didn't really fuck us up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think Rennie come into the back row or Sonny come on and I just went to the front row.
Yeah.
Which in today's game I'd be front row, back row. I mean front row like or lock anyway in today's game. So it didn't really change the dynamics. Just made everyone lift higher. But it was fucking hard. They had like Joel Clinton, Nullavow, Pulatua, Waterhouse, Martin Lang, Luke Prittis. They had a fucking
Good
team.
side, yeah.
Really big physical team. We had some really good battles from 2002, 3, 4. Craig Gower, Preston Campbell, Gerds, Luke Rooney, Luke Lewis. So they had a fair side. It was a fucking really good side. So it went down to the wire. And I always tell Ren, I think he scored in the second half and we just got all the momentum, but it was like arm wrestle for like 60 minutes. It was non-stop, fucking non-stop. No breaks where you look at the grand final, there was a lot of breaks at the start. It was sort of because it started pissing down rain and fucking threw the ball off, you know what I mean? But that Saturday game was dry. It was good football. It was just hard nosed. We were a man down and like, we ended up coming through with it. We only, it was for about 65 minutes and Rennie scored, I think it was about 20 to go. I don't know, put us about 14 or 16 ahead. I'm like, fucking game over. I called game. Called game right then. I said, when he come off, I think, and I went on for him, I said, you just got us in the grand final. And he always remembers that. So, but I just knew that we had the momentum and all that kind of shit. But that was probably the funnest one because you know that you're finally in the grand final. It was my first grand final.
Yeah.
First and only.
First and only. 1 from 1,
1 to 1.
100% success rate. It's enough. Plenty that would love to have played in one, let alone win it. So, Farm Boy Raver, I think he's a Kiwi actually. Are we witnessing the end of physicality in rugby league and is the game in danger of going down the same path as Union regarding sin bins and sending offs for ridiculous rule interpretations?
Yes, 100%. You can't think that we're not going down that road. What used to separate us from AFL and Union was our, I hate to condone like fighting and the more aggressive sort of sport. Otherwise you go play fucking Union if you didn't want to get hit that hard. Do you know what I mean? Like, or I don't know, if you didn't want the fighting and all that kind of stuff and. That's what separates us from that. Now we're pretty much even. Yeah. So it does suck. I don't think we're trying not to, but we are. The melees and all that kind of stuff. You can't fight anymore, and it's just. It's still a great game to watch, but watching games on the weekend like that, which was so aggressive and like, there could have been ways to go to make that game a bit more free flowing.
Anton, who is definitely the funniest bloke that does this, he has actually asked a serious question. Oh, no, he hasn't. Willie had the best Sterlo mic'd up montage of all time. If you could mic anyone up and hear what they actually sound like while doing their job, who would it be and why? They don't have to do anything to do with footy. Mine would be Bob Catter. Nice one. So let's start with who would be the funniest bloke outside of you, obviously, because you're my hero and you're the funniest. Who would be the funniest bloke in rugby league if you like that was chatting on the field and was funny about it rather than just like.
Oh. Craig Gower was pretty funny. Me and Gower used to go at it. Joey was always good. A lot of people used to say a lot of shit back then, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Corey Hughes was funny the way he used to say stuff. A lot of characters back then, man. They used to talk a lot of shit, but funny stuff. I remember just being at like scrums, just pissing myself laughing because someone would be like, I'd be saying something, we'd be both talking, and it'd be like, it would be pretty funny. But what you said, he doesn't have to play sport.
Yeah, it could be anyone. Anyone.
Dude,
I should have said this before because do you know what, Anton? We're going to actually
Barack Obama.
We're going to think about.
Donald Trump.
Trump.
I'd mic up Donald Trump.
Oh, I'd love to have a Donald
Maybe
Trump.
have a conversation with that idiot off camera, and it was just one-on-one with the boys, and just he didn't even know.
Just grab her.
He goes
Just
straight,
grab her.
and I think he's been done before for what he's going to fucking say.
Oh, I think that'd be a good one. Actually,
So
I'm going to have a think too.
The Donald.
All right, well, that concludes episode number 25. We're at finals. We're deep finals.
Yeah.
We'll do Twitter games this week.
Yeah, we're on and off Twitter, aren't we?
I'm back on Twitter. I like it again. It's a cesspit.
It's hard to tweet and watch it live. Because I want to watch, because most of the time, just say when I'm watching, and I understand people at home, when I tweet, most of the time, sometimes I can't tweet because I'm not watching it live.
Yeah, that's
right. I
right.
watch it so I can rewind it and all that kind of stuff. So I hate fucking ads, all that sort of shit. So like, but now I want to watch it live. So it's hard to fucking tweet and watch live footy. It is hard.
With my social life at the moment, I need games to be on a Tuesday afternoon.
Same.
Get off the drink. All right, rate and review. Mason's Take.com. See you all next week.
Thank you, guys.
They'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.